Dear students of class 8A and 8B, welcome to my history and civics class. Today's teaching history, lesson number 6. My dear students, in my previous class I taught you about the wrong policies of Aurangzeb. Who was Aurangzeb? You know, Aurangzeb was the last independent Mughal emperor. But after the death of Aurangzeb, the weak successors of him were unable to protect the large kingdom from the attacks of, foreign invaders, and of course from the rise of the regional kingdoms. Now today's point, Aurangzeb's policies. Aurangzeb's policies. What is the policy of Aurangzeb? Now I am going to. This is the first point, Aurangzeb's policies. Aurangzeb, adopted a policy of, Deccan expedition. Now why? Why did Aurangzeb adopt the policy of Deccan expedition? It was a very challenging, but still Aurangzeb accepted their challenge. Why? Why did he accept? What incident happened? Aurangzeb decided to accept the challenge of the rulers of the Deccan. The most powerful rulers of South India, the most important rulers of India, they were Marathas. The Marathas, the Jats, the Bundelas and the Sikhs demanded autonomous state. They all demanded autonomy. Who? The Marathas, the Bundelas, and of course the Sikhs. They all unitedly demanded a state of them where there would be no there would be no Mughal control. That means regional autonomy. They demanded regional autonomy during the rule of Aurangzeb. Aurangzeb said, "What is this? I am the emperor of Mughal dynasty. I belong to the same dynasty, the dynasty of Akbar, the dynasty of, the dynasty of Jahangir, the dynasty of Shah Jahan. I belong to the same dynasty, but you are demanding autonomy, regional autonomy. What is this? I can't accept it." Then they declared independence. They stopped paying taxes and revenues. They stopped paying their yearly taxes for the royal treasury of Delhi. Naturally, Aurangzeb decided to declare war against them. So Aurangzeb reached Deccan and started Deccan expedition in order to crush the growing influence of the Marathas, the Bundelas, the Sikhs. So he needed huge amount of money in order to continue war against the regional kingdoms like the Marathas, like the Bundelas, like the Sikhs. He needed huge amount of money. But so many states of India, they stopped paying taxes and revenues. And it was due to that reason Aurangzeb decided to impose jizya on non-Muslims. Aurangzeb ruled for a term of 20 years, but still he did not impose jizya on the non-Muslims, because he realized it that India was a country, Hindu majority was there. So imposition of jizya on the Hindus, means non-Muslims, would bring discontentment, would bring different types of problems in the country. He would be unable to facing. That's why he followed the footsteps of the predecessors and decided not to impose jizya on the non-Muslims. So, but after 20 years rule of his kingship, he was compelled to impose jizya on the non-Muslims because of want of money. The time when he was at war with the Bundelas, the Sikhs, the Jats, the Marathas, he needed money, adequate money. That's why he was compelled to impose jizya on the non-Muslims. So this wrong decision alienated the Hindus and led to a lot of discontentment. And he declined the demand of the regional autonomy, as I told you earlier. That's why he had to face numerous wars with them, and not only that, it had a negative impact on the army. The army of the under the Mughals, they were not paid their money, the amount of money, they were not paid their salary for a long period, long time, because of want of money. Aurangzeb assured them, okay, you keep on fighting. I am Aurangzeb, I am assuring you. He said to them, I am Aurangzeb, I belong to Mughal dynasty, I am assuring you, my dear armies, you keep on fighting against my enemies. I shall pay you the full amount of money which is now pending. You keep on fighting, work honestly and sincerely, I am assuring you. Since he was Aurangzeb, the armies were dedicated, committed, so they kept on fighting honestly. But half of them, after a long tussle between the Marathas and Aurangzeb's army Mughals, they were unable to have patient food, and ultimately they showed their discontentment and strongly demanded the amount of money. Either Aurangzeb would pay or they would not raise sword against the enemies of the Mughals. Ultimately, this act of misery brought destruction in the country. Aurangzeb could not understand it. So, it not only destroyed the entire circumstances of the Mughals, but also destroyed the trade in the Deccan. So the Rajput chiefs and the military assistance was great importance of the Mughals. You know, the Rajputs who were faithful towards the Mughals from the time of, Babur, Humayun, Akbar, Jahangir, Shah Jahan, that group of people, the Rajputs, the wrong policy, the Rajput policy of Aurangzeb paved the way of destruction of the empire, because his policy towards the Rajput made the Rajputs one of the very powerful enemies of the Mughals. So the Rajputs antagonist Aurangzeb's policies and Aurangzeb, and it was a wrong decision of Aurangzeb. The policy of Rajput also paved the way of destruction. Aurangzeb's aggression towards the Rajput led to the loss of Rajput support, and then Aurangzeb had to face, defeat against the Marathas, against the Bundelas, against the Jats, and against the Sikhs. So the local and regional kingdoms declared themselves to be independent. Now, next point, agrarian economy. Next point, agrarian economy. Agrarian economy. Agrarian economy. You know, in the 18th century, the Zagirdari system, which was introduced by Akbar once, was totally abolished, or was about to the way to destruction. Why? Because most of the Zagirs, means lands, which were given to the Zagirdars and the system of Zagirdari, due to the reason of non-payment of taxes and land revenues, all the lands which were the lands, these all, they came under the control of the kings, means emperors. So the Zagirdari system was abolished, and afterwards they had no interest. So the rest of them who had lost their lands, the Zagirdars had no interest of the kingdom, they had no interest in following the long-term policy for agricultural development. Naturally, taxation rates kept rising and the burden of the peasantry increased, and as a reaction to the exploitation, the peasants refused to pay their taxes and revenues. And after that, protests led to the many peasants' revolts. It also led to many peasants' revolts. The time when the peasants paid high amount of taxes to the Mughals, our Mughal dynasty became rich, prosperous at the cost of the land revenues and taxes of the peasants, because they were well established. They earned a lot of money. Their agricultural production also was bulk in quantity, and of course, there was a good system of harvest. There was a good system of cultivation introduced by the Mughal rulers. And throughout the country, there was peace and solidarity, richness and happiness in the country. But Aurangzeb buried it. And ultimately, the last policy, the Deccan policy, also buried the last hope for the Mughals. Aurangzeb could not understand it. And at the time when he also imposed jizya on the non-Muslims, he could not understand. He realized it, but when he realized the situation was beyond control, all the Hindus, they all got themselves united against the Mughals, and throughout the country, there was no scope for the Mughals to restore their former glory and image. Ultimately, the foreign invasions, the Persian ruler Nadir Shah invaded India in the year 1739, my dear students. The Persian ruler Nadir Shah heard a lot about the Mughals, their wealth, their prosperity. So he invaded India with a view to plunder huge wealth, untold wealth of the Mughals, and ultimately he looted immense wealth and from Delhi. But afterwards, at the time when he also took away the invaluable treasure Kohinoor diamond and beautiful peacock throne, which were the symbols and glory of the Mughal dynasty, there was none to protect it. And afterwards, on hearing the invasion of Nadir Shah, another invader came to India to invade our country. Who was he? He was Ahmad Shah Abdali. Ahmad Shah Abdali. Who was Ahmad Shah Abdali? He was Afghan ruler. And who was Nadir Shah? He was Persian ruler. Nadir Shah came from Persia, and Ahmad Shah Abdali came from Afghanistan. He also came he also came to India to invade and to plunder untold wealth of our country. But the amount of money and the wealth, whatever he expected from our country, India, he could not fulfill his expectation, and ultimately he had to invade India for 5 times. For 5 times he invaded India between 1748 to 1761. So the Mughal Empire lost sizable territories following these attacks. Several regions which had earlier been under the Mughal soon declared themselves independent of the Mughal rule. Ultimately, the regional rulers realized that the Mughals could not protect the country from the attack of the foreign invaders, foreign rulers. So, how could they expect that the regional kingdom should pay revenues? Why should they pay revenues to the royal treasury of Delhi? So it should be better for them to declare themselves independent by non-paying the taxes and revenues for the empire, and hence a number of regional kingdoms rose to power and declared themselves independent, my dear students. Next day I shall continue the remaining part, the rise of independent regional kingdoms. If you have any problem, any difficulty, you can use my comment box and let me know. I shall help you as far as possible. And today I have sent a message that on 30th I am going to conduct online practice test from 10 a.m. from lesson number 5, the previous lesson which I completed teaching. From there I shall conduct a online practice test. You must get yourself prepared for it. Thank you, my dear students.